Alright, welcome back artistic ladies and gentlemen to another Fun Friday episode in this Pokémon TCG Online series where I play around with funny and silly deck ideas. This week, the Steam Siege set was released on the Pokémon TCG Online, so from here on out, for the next couple of weeks, I will be playing around with cards from the Steam Siege expansion. And today, I bring you the first deck, including some Steam Siege cards, which is a Nidoqueen Nidoking deck. Nidoqueen is a Stage 2 Pokémon with 140 HP and the Omega Barrage trait, which allows it to attack twice in one turn. Twice for the Poison Jab, for example, or twice for the Dynamite Punch, or once Poison Jab and once Dynamite Punch. Those are the combinations we can do here. Poison Jab hits for 30 for a Psychic Energy, and we poison our opponent's active Pokemon. Dynamite Punch hits for 70 for 2 Psychic Energy and a Colorless Energy, but we have to do 20 damage to ourselves, and we do not apply weakness to this damage. If we hit twice for the Dynamite Punch in the same turn, we can hit for 2 times 70 is 140 damage, which is not too shabby at all. Now the partner of choice is going to be Nidoking here. Nidoking is from the Steam Siege set and has the King's Palace ability. Your Nidoqueen's attacks do 20 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon before applying weakness and resistance. So let's quickly go back to our Nidoqueen. That means Nidoqueen is hitting for 50 with the Poison Jab. 50 times 2 because of the Omega Barrage trade is 100 damage in one turn, plus 10 damage from a poison is 110 damage just for a single Psychic Energy. Then we have the Dynamite Punch, 70 plus 20 is 90, 90 times 2 is 180, which is enough to knock out most basic EXs in the current format in a single turn with this Dynamite Punch, and that is not too shabby at all. However, most of the time we will be focusing on the Poison Jab attack, because this Dynamite Punch attack does take 3 separate energy attachments, and that is not always easy to accomplish in the current very speedy format. Some of you might be thinking here, what about including Dimension Valley as a stadium? Dimension Valley is a stadium which reduces the attack cost from the Dynamite Punch with a single Colorless Energy, so we can attack for just 2 Psychic Energy instead of 2 Psychic and a Colorless Energy. And yes, you could do that, but I did not, simply because I made this deck for the new standard format, which is going to apply from the 1st or the beginning of September onwards. And in that standard format, there ain't no Dimension Valleys anymore, sadly, so we have to make do without Dimension Valleys, and that is why our focus is going to be on the Poison Jab. If we go back to Nidoking, we could get 2 Nidokings out in the very same game, and if we can do that, this Poison Jab will actually hit for 70 and then 70 more because we can attack twice, which is 140 total, plus poison damage is 150 for a single energy. That is just ridiculous. If we can accomplish that, we can do that because we do have a 2-1-2 line of Nidoran Male, Nidorino and Nidoking, but getting out 2 Nidokings will require a little bit of luck for us to accomplish that, simply because we only have the 2, so we need to be able to set up this very thin line completely twice in the same game, which is not always the easiest thing to do. And then we have a 4-2-3 line of Nidoran Female, Nidorina and our Nidoqueen. Besides Nidoqueen and Nidoking, I do have 2 other Pokemon. The first one is Wobbuffet with the Bite Barricade ability. As long as this Pokemon is your active Pokemon, each Pokemon in play in each player's hand and in each player's discard pile has no abilities. Wobbuffet is here for his ability, but also for his attack. The Psychic Assault hits for 10 plus 10 more damage for each damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon. Now this Wobbuffet could come in and hit for a Psychic Assault after we hit for our Poison Jab twice to finish off our opponent's active Pokemon in the active spot, for example. We could use it for that, but the main use of the Wobbuffet is for its ability. We are going to try to shut down my opponent's Shaman with this Wobbuffet. If we can start off with Wobbuffet in the active spot at the start of our game, if we cannot, then we will try to play down our Silent Lab. Silent Lab shuts down the abilities of all basic Pokemon in play, so that includes my opponent's Shaman, and we want to shut down my opponent's Shaman for one reason and one reason only, and that is to slow down my opponent as much as we can, because we have a lot of work to do with this deck. We need to set up 2 stage 2 lines, the Nidoqueen and the Nidoking, and that is going to take us some time. So what we are going to try to do is play down our Silent Lab and or play down our Wobbuffet in the active spot and slow down our opponent as much as we can by preventing him from using a Shaman. Then we also have the last Pokemon, the Talonflame, one copy of Talonflame with the Gale Wings ability. If this Pokemon is in your hand when you are setting up to play, you may put it face down as your active Pokemon. And what this means is that if we start off with this Talonflame in our starting hand, we can decide to put Talonflame in the active spot. Despite it being a stage 2, which is ridiculous, I love this ability. It is so great. It only works in certain decks, but I think this deck is one of those decks where it can work because we don't run too many basics. We have 2 Nidoran male, 4 Nidoran female, 2 Wobbuffet, which is 8 basics, plus the 1 Talonflame, which is a total of 8 plus 1 semi-basic, because this Talonflame kind of acts like a basic in our starting hand. So we have a 1 in 9 chance of starting off with the Talonflame in the active spot, and when we do, we can make use of the Arrow Blitz attack for a single colorless energy. We hit for 40 damage, and we get to search our deck for up to 2 cards, put them into our hand, and shuffle our deck afterwards. Typically, what we will want to search for if we have this Talonflame in the active spot is a rare candy. I do run 3 rare candies in this deck, a rare candy, and then a Nidoqueen or Nidoking, so that we can rare candy from our Nidoran male into our Nidoking, or from our Nidoran female into our Nidoqueen, without having to evolve through the Nidorino or through the Nidorina. If we don't find our rare candies, we can always still evolve into Nidorina or Nidorino, and we can also use the Evosoda to search out those Nidorinas and Nidorinos. We can even use the Evosodas to search out our Nidoqueens if we have a Nidorina on our bench. This deck is focused on making the evolving process as easy as we can. That is why I run the Evosodas, that is why I run the rare candies, and that's also why I run a high count of level balls to make sure we can get out our Nidorans, our basic Nidorans, our male Nidoran and our female Nidoran at the start of the game as early on as possible. No Bridget, because every single turn we will want to use our N or our Sycamore. N and Sycamore are the draw supporters of choice in this deck for N and for Sycamore, because I do not run any Shaman of my own. It would be counterproductive if I did, because I'm going to try to shut down my opponent's Shaman, and while I do that, I would also shut down my own Shaman, so there is no point in running Shaman in this deck, which makes this deck very budget friendly, actually, a very budget friendly deck, and very high counts of N and Sycamore, because we don't have Shaman for N and for Sycamore for draw support, and we will want to use them as much as we can, which is why I do not run Bridget, simply because we will be forced to use our N and our Sycamore to draw through our deck. I do have some other supporters here. I have 1 Teammates. Teammates is a very great card. It's kind of similar to the Arrow Blitz attack, because Teammates allows us to search our deck for 2 cards. However, we can only do that when one of our Pokemon got knocked out in the previous turn, which is very important to keep in mind here. Then we also have 1 copy of Listener to Listener our opponent's easy targets, for example a Shaman. If we have a Nidoking in play and a Nidoqueen in the active spot, we hit for 50 on the Shaman, 50 more on a Shaman because we attack twice, which is 100 damage, and then 10 from poison, which is 110, and that is a knockout in 1 turn on my opponent's Shaman, which is just fantastic. Finally, we have 1 Giovanni Scheme. Giovanni Scheme is here for the times where we did not manage to get out our Nidoking, or if our Nidoking got Listenered, knocked out, or if we simply need to do extra damage. Even if we have a Nidoking in play, we can use this Giovanni Scheme to increase our damage output by 20, just like the Nidoking, or we can also use this Giovanni Scheme as a draw supporter, because it does allow us to draw cards until we have 5 cards in our hand if we decide to do that. But most of the times, if we use Giovanni Scheme, we will go for the extra damage here and try to do more damage with the Poison Jab or the Dynamite Punch from the Nidoqueen. Then we have, of course, energies in this deck. We have 5 Psychic Energies and 4 Mystery Energies. The Mystery Energies combined with the Escape Rope are going to give us flexibility to switch between our Pokemon, because Mystery Energy reduces the retreat cost from our Psychic Pokemon by 2 colorless energy. Our Wobbuffet has a 2 colorless energy retreat cost, so if we attach a Mystery Energy, it is a 0 retreat cost. We basically get to retreat it for free. Same goes for the Nidoqueen here, and same goes for Nidorina as well as Nidorina. The same goes not for our Nidoking though. Nidoking has a 4 retreat cost, so we do need to attach 2 mystery energies to our Nidoking if we want to retreat it for free, or we need to find our escape rope here. Escape rope instead of switch between our Pokemon, because escape rope can help us out against a Glaceon EX from our opponent. To help us out against Glaceon EX, I also run Pokémon Ranger, a supporter card from the Steam Siege expansion, which removes all effects of attacks on each player and his or her Pokemon. So if the Glaceon hits us for, what is it called again, a Crystal Ray for 70 damage and preventing any damage done to the Glaceon by our evolutions like the Nidoqueen, then we can simply VS Seeker for our Pokémon Ranger and get rid of that effect from our opponent's attack. We can also use this Pokémon Ranger against a Seismitoad, for example, if we were to run into Seismitoad for some reason. Then, do we have anything else to discuss? Yes, 2 more cards. We have the Sacred Ash to shuffle back Pokemon into our deck, and the Super Rod to do the same, or to shuffle back some Psychic Energies in our deck. We need those cards here. We definitely need them to make sure that if our Nidoqueen goes down, we can get out another Nidoqueen in the late game. Make sure we can keep our Nidoqueens going and keep pressuring our opponents. And that is basically it for this deck analysis. So I'm gonna give a short summary here. The strategy with this deck is, first of all, to slow down our opponent using our Silent Lab and our Wobbuffet, and then also to make it as easy for us to evolve into our Nidoking and our Nidoqueen as easy as possible, using our rare candies, using our Evo Sodas, and using our ball search cards like our Ultra Ball and our Level Ball, as well as using the Talonflame and its Aero Blitz attack. And that is it. That is this deck analysis summarized short and sweet for you. If you have any more questions, don't hesitate to hit me up down below in the comment section. I will reply to your comments as soon as I can. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoy the upcoming battles, because I'm going to find myself some opponents in a versus ladder right now and show you this deck in action. Our first opponent of the day is Frankie7988 with a Psychic and a Dragon deck. Alright, let's see if we can have a nice game here against Frankie with the Just Pink coin, who allows us to go first. Well, not actually allows us, we want the coin flip, and I'm definitely going to take advantage of that. We want to go first. Oh my goodness, we start off with our Talonflame. Fantastic, look at that. It's a pretty bad starting hand for the rest because we don't have a draw supporter. So that's a bummer, but at least we have our Talonflame. If we get an energy, we can look for a draw supporter and something else using Talonflame's attack, which is just great. And we even get a Silent Lab to go with the Talonflame, so we can shut down my opponent Shaman. Oh my goodness, how many basics is my opponent playing? Jesus, 4 basics straight away from his starting hands. It is Latios with bats, and we top deck an N. That is just fabulous. We top decked the N. Let's grab ourselves a female Nidoran. Do we play down our Silent Lab? Might as well. We don't really have any use for it in this matchup because my opponent does not play Shaman, and my opponent probably plays Silent Lab himself, to be honest. Question is, do we discard this rare candy with our Ultra Ball or not? No, I will keep the rare candy in my deck. Would have loved to discard that Pokemon Ranger, and there's a Pokemon Ranger again. We get another Nidoran, and we get another Dead Hand. Another Dead Hand. I will keep the Ultra Ball in my hands. I will attach this energy to the female Nidoran, and I will, let's see here, I will end my turn. Yes, alright, we can Lysander in the next turn, Lysander stall, Lysander out another Latios. Would love to top deck Psychic Energy though, for our Talonflame. So we can look for a draw supporter and maybe a rare candy, so we can Ultra Ball for a Nidoqueen and then rare candy, fast raid for 40. What do we top deck? Sycamore. Ooh, great stuff here. We top deck a Sycamore. Well then, let's discard the Pokemon Ranger. Let's discard the Sacred Ash because we have to discard it anyways. We will grab ourselves. What shall we grab ourselves actually? We do not have the Nidorino. Huh. Maybe another Nidoran then. I could grab the Nidorina, but I will refrain for now. Kinda wanna find my rare candy to evolve into my Nidoqueen straight away. Sycamore it is. Can we maybe find an energy for the Talonflame? No, we do not find an energy for the Talonflame. We do find a Nidorina and another Nidoran, but I will actually bench my Wobbuffet instead. I'm going to level ball for another Nidorina for the next turn, and then we're going to Sycamore again in the next turn. Do I attach this to my Nidorina or to my Nidoran here? Probably to my Nidorina, so we can hit for a crap ton of damage at some point. Yes, alright. And we shall end our turn. Hopefully this Talonflame stays alive. Hopefully my opponent does not have another double dragon energy. If it does, so be it. Then the Talonflame still served as well, because it took a beating for us, and that way we didn't have to sacrifice a Wobbuffet or anything else. 20 on our Nidorina from the Wobbuffet, and there's another double dragon energy. Alright, we will see knockouts here, but then we can knock out my opponent's Latios with our Nidoqueen. 110 damage right there, pretty impressive from my opponent. We will promote our Nidorina simply because we can retreat it, since we have 2 mystery energies attached to it. There is the psychic energy. We will evolve first of all. We'll bench another Nidoran, another female Nidoran, and then I think I will teammate instead. Make sure we can evolve into our Nidoqueen here. Actually, maybe no. Maybe, what we kind of need is we kind of need our Nidoking. So I'm going to Sycamore. Yeah, we kind of need our Nidoking if we want to hit for the one-hit KO. And we need to do that. So I am going to Sycamore. Hopefully we can find a rare candy for our Nidoking as well as a Nidoqueen. Rare candy, Nidoking and Nidoqueen. This is it. This is a fantastic hand. Wow. I cannot believe we actually got that. Luck is on my side. Here we will see the power of the Nidoking. We will get the KO here. 90 damage from the Dynamite Punch. We do put 20 on ourselves, but it is definitely worth it. It is definitely worth it. And another Dynamite Punch for 90 more. And there it is. There's the first 2 prizes of this game. A Viaseeker and the Nidorino. So we can start evolving into another Nidoking, and then we will hit for 70 with the Poison Jab and 70 more. My opponent promotes the Golbats. Can we get knocked out? We cannot get knocked out. Actually, no, we cannot. 30 from the Crobat and 30 more from the Surprise Bite. That is not a KO. Now we do see the Dimension Valley. My opponent plays Dimension Valley. Does not play Silent Lab, it seems. There's a Crobat. Is going to put 30 on our Nidoqueen. Actually, we do get knocked out because my opponent hits for weakness against our Nidoqueen, which is a bummer. But at least we should be able to get out another Nidoqueen here. Do we have a Super Rod in our deck still? Yes, we should have a Super Rod. We see an energy. Not sure why my opponent put the energy on the Crobat. Oh no, and an Ace Trainer. Darn, the Ace Trainer. But we still have a lot of draw supporters in our deck, so if we can get a little bit lucky, yes, we do get a little bit lucky, and actually very lucky, because we get another Nidoqueen. We get another one. Let's see, the weakness though, the weakness is going to be a problem for us. How are we going to deal with the weakness? We are weak to my opponent's Crobats. We'll have to see how that is going to go for us. So let's promote our Nidorina, a Viaseeker. We could teammates. I could definitely teammates. And I think I will. For an energy and something else. Or I could Listener. No, I'm going to teammates. And then we shall take a look at our deck here. What can we get? We could get a rare candy, but we don't really need that. We need the energy. We don't really need the Super Rod at the moment. What do we have in our hands? Nothing much, except for the Sycamore and the Silent Lab, but we cannot really use them this turn except for the Silent Lab. So I am going to get myself the Nidorino. Make sure we can evolve into a Nidoking without a rare candy, and then we can use our rare candy for our Nidoran on our bench. Yes, that is exactly what we are going to do. We are going to hit for 100 damage on this Crobat here. 50 more, and then 10 from the poison actually, which is going to be a very quick KO on this Crobat. If only we had another Nidoking, and this would have been a one-hit KO right here. So my opponent will have to retreat the Crobats into probably the Latios EX, to hit for a fast raid. Unless my opponent decides to just hit for weakness for 60, but then my opponent, I don't know, yeah, actually maybe it's better to hit for weakness. No, he decides to retreat into the Deoxys, hit us for 60 with the Overdrive Smash. I'm not sure why, since we one-hit KO the Deoxys here. We definitely one-hit KO the Deoxys. I'm going to Sycamore. If we can find our Nidoking, in there we do find a Nidoking. It is actually a KO in the first of our hits with the Poison Jab. I guess we could have hit for, yeah, with the Poison Jab actually, because we hit for 30 plus 40, 70 times 2 is 140. Without that Nidoking we were hitting for 50 times 2 is 100, plus the Poison is 10, but the Poison only activates at the end of our turn, so we would have had to waste our second hit on this Deoxys to knock it out, but right now we can do it just with our first hit. We will put an energy on the Nidoran on our bench, make sure we can start powering that Nidoran up, and then it is time to hit for the KO here. There's nothing much else we can do. We'll hit for the kill on the Deoxys. What is my opponent going to promote now? 140 damage just with a single energy. That's pretty insane. That is definitely pretty insane. Leave a like for 140 damage for a single energy with his Nidoqueen. And my opponent promotes the Latios EX. Are you kidding me? Wow. We will definitely take that. Poison Jab onto this Latios EX for 70 and 10 poison damage. This Latios EX is going to go down in the next turn just from the Poison Jab. I think, wait, 80 plus 10 is 90 plus 70 is 160. No, just 10 short, so we need to hit twice on the Latios EX in the next turn. That's a bummer. Another Ace Trainer from our opponent. We do see the Lightning Energy, so we will get hit for the fast rate for 40, which is a 2-hit KO. I think things are looking up for us. We get an N, a Nidoqueen, and a Rare Candy. These Ace Trainers keep giving us better hands than the hands we had before. My opponent retreats into the Crobats. We will see 60 damage from the Crobat. A Spirit Link on the Latios. Skill Dive. Yes, there it is, 60 damage, which is fine by me. We will Rare Candy right now. I'm going to start powering up the Nidoqueen on my bench even more, because the Nidoqueen in the active spot is going to go down very soon. Now we do need to find our Super Alt to shuffle back one Nidoran and one Nidoqueen. Make sure we can power up another one if this one goes down as well. And I think it's time to end. Yes, let's end. And let's see what we can find. There is our Super Alt as well as our Giovanni Scheme. Alright, Super Alt it is for the Nidoran, the Nidoqueen, and do we need an energy? Maybe not. Let's actually shuffle back the Nidorina as well. We still have enough energies in our deck to power up another Nidoqueen. We'll hit for the kill here with the Poison Jab, and then we'll put 70 more on, I think, the Hydreigon. I think my opponent is going to promote the Hydreigon. An Ultra Ball from the prizes. Not too useful at the moment. Oh, actually promotes the Latios EX. So we will put 70 more on this Latios EX and 10 from the Poison. Does that mean my opponent has the Mega Latios? Is he that confident? Has he got the Mega Latios to evolve, get rid of the Poison, then knock out our Nidoqueen? Because my opponent could attach Double Dragon Energy, which is then enough to knock us out with the Mega Latios EX. Hits for 120 with the Mega Latios, I believe. A Shauna, so he did not have the Mega Latios. I'm not sure why he did promote Latios then. A Spirit Link. A Spirit Link, and maybe that is game. I've got a feeling we might have the game here. Yes, just an energy on the Latios on a bench. If my opponent does not retreat this Latios, it is game going into our turn, because this Latios is going to go down because of the poison damage. Fast Ray, there it is. We win the game with our Nidoqueen deck. The other Nidoqueen does not need to do anything anymore. It is GG here. GG to you, Frankie7988. Fantastic match. I will say I did get quite lucky there from the ace trainers. Very lucky actually, I'm not gonna lie. We got 2 fantastic hands from those ace trainers, and we actually managed to get out 2 Nidokings in the same match, which does not happen too often with this deck. So I am very happy. With this match. Let's take a look at the stats here. 670 damage dealt versus 420 from my opponent. Nidoqueen MVP, rightly so, against Latios EX. Alright, let's find ourselves another opponent. Famous Red 1 is going to be our next opponent with fighting and a water deck. I think this is gonna be Garchomp versus Nidoqueen. Who can win it? I think we have got an advantage, to be honest. I think we've got a slight advantage over the Garchomp deck, because we can hit for more damage than the Garchomp in a single turn. Yeah, I think we can. We can one-hit KO Garchomp if we are a little bit lucky even, and power up our Nidoqueen fully to hit for the second attack of the Nidoqueen. My opponent finds a basic from his starting hand. We do not. So we have to reshuffle our hand here. There's our Nidoran, and Nidoran, a Sycamore, a Silent Lab. Silent Lab is pretty much useless, since my opponent does not play Shaman and does not play any basic Pokemon with abilities. Does my opponent start off with a Gibble? If so, what are we going to do about that? Well, let's see. Level Ball from our opponents for another Gibble. We do see the Carving Break. So it is Carving Break with Garchomp. Oh, grabs the Octillery or the Remoraid to evolve into the Octillery. Can we see do we maybe see a Corina? No, just the pass of the turn. Okay, just the pass of the turn. I could Escape Rope, force my opponent to switch into the Carving. Do I want to do that? I think I will actually do that. Yes, maybe not. I kind of just want to sit on my hands and then in the next turn evolve into my Nidoqueen. Are we in any danger of getting knocked out? We are if my opponent uses a Max Elixir, no, a Rare Candy into Garchomp and then an Energy. Then my opponent can knock out our Nidoran in the next turn. So I will Escape Rope just to be safe. But I will sit on my hand at the same time. In the next turn we can discard the Silent Lab and whatever we top deck, grab ourselves a Nidoqueen and evolve into our Nidoqueen. So we will end our turn here. Hopefully my opponent thinks we have a bad hand, which it's not a bad hand at all, but it's not the best hand. So I'm not sure if I performed the right move here. If I should have just kept my hand or discarded it, because now we need to dig through our deck more in the late game, because we didn't dig through our deck at the start of the game here. We see the Octillery from our opponent and a Muscle Band on the Gabite. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that Muscle Band. I'd rather see the Muscle Band than a Focus Sash. No, actually not. I'd rather see a Focus Sash than a Muscle Band, because Focus Sash is useless against us. No, I don't like the Muscle Band. I changed my mind. Bad Muscle Bands. We don't like you. Alright, let's Level Ball for a male Nidoran. Do we have a male Nidoran? I don't think we do. Nope, we do not have him. Oh yeah, we do. There it is. I didn't see it for a moment there. So we'll grab a male Nidoran so we can evolve into our Nidoking in the next turn. Then we will Ultra Ball for our Nidoqueen here. Discard the Silent Lab and the VS Seeker. All we need to do now is find ourselves an energy for our Nidoqueen. And we should be golden for a while here. At least for 2 turns. Because my opponent cannot one-hit KO our Nidoqueen in the next turn. Sycamore it is. Can we find the energy? Yes, we do find the energy. We actually find 2 energies and another Level Ball for another Nidoran. Yes, we do have another one. And we have 2 Nidorina as well. There's a Rare Candy, so we can Rare Candy in the next turn into the Nidoking. If you want to do that, Poison Jab for 30. And Poison Jab for 30 more. This Carbink will go down in the next turn from our first hit. Unfortunately, it will stay alive going back into our turn. It would have been nice if the Carbink would have gone down from poison damage going into our turn. We do see the Garchomp from our opponent. The Garchomp can hit for 80, maybe 100 if my opponent finds a strong energy. And Ultra Ball will discard Remoraid and VS Seeker for another Gibble, no doubt about it. My opponent will grab the Gibble, or maybe just actually the Carbing Break. No, just grabs the Gibble, which is the better play in my opinion. Grabs the Gibble, benches the Gibble, super odds for the Garchomp and the Remoraid, and then my opponent will use the Abyssal Hand. I kind of want to get rid of that Octillery there. Oh, switches into the Garchomp. Switches into the Garchomp. Yes, we'll use the Abyssal Hands. I definitely want to get rid of the Octillery if I can. Do we have a Lysander in our discard pile? We do not. Just an energy, just a basic energy there on the Garchomp. So we'll get hit for 80, which is a 2-hit KO. Turbo Assault for nothing. My opponent cannot accelerate. There's no energies in the discard pile. Can we get the 1-hit KO? We cannot get the 1-hit KO. So there is no point going for the 1-hit KO here. Might as well attach to my Nidoran on the bench. And then we'll discard the VS Seeker. We'll discard the Silent Lab. Grab ourselves our Nidoking. If we can find him. Yes, there he is. Our one and only Nidoking in our deck. And then it is time to Sycamore. So my opponent will get the first KO for this game in the next turn. But I think we are looking a little bit better for later on in the game. Because we have damage on the Carbink. We will have damage on the Garchomp. My opponent doesn't really have any other Garchomps ready to go. We do see another Nidoqueen here, which we can rare candy into. And we even get the Nidorina as well as Wobbuffet. That is fantastic. All we really need now is another draw supporter. That's all we are really looking for. Let's bench our Wobbuffet and then let's hit for the Poison Jab. Nice deck idea. Thank you very much, and thank you very much. That is very nice of you to say. It is a pretty fun deck to play. It's definitely not the best. I will warn my opponents. Definitely not the best, but fun. And that is what Fun Friday is all about. It's playing around with deck ideas which will most likely never be competitive, or at least not as it stands right now, not in the current meta. You never know, in the future this deck might be competitive if enough support cards are released, if enough cards are released which actually help this deck out, like maybe the Dimension Valley, if Dimension Valley is reprinted, because right now it will leave the standard format. There's a knockout on our Garchomp. My opponent said it sure is, it sure is. Let's promote our other Nidoqueen. Let's go for the kill here. And let's start powering up another Nidoqueen on the bench here. I'm pretty sure we have another one in the deck. Yes, we do indeed have another one. So we will get the kill and we will put damage on another Pokemon. Probably the Carbink. My opponent will probably sacrifice the Carbink, if I were to guess here. I need to be wary of a Lysander on my Nidoking. That is something I need to watch out for. But luckily we do have this Mystery Energy which is going to help us to retreat our Nidoking if that happens. And we do get another Mystery Energy to help us even more. 2 Mystery Energies should suffice to retreat our Nidoking. But if we see a Lysander on our Nidoking, I might just let it go down, honestly. Oh, and there's another Nidoking. So we have the Nidorino, the Nidoking, but we are missing the Nidoran, the male Nidoran. There's the Gibble from our opponent. A rare candy into the Garchomp. Look at that, my opponent has his own rare candies. We are not the only ones using our rare candies. 2 VS Seekers in the discard pile, 1 Super Odds, 1 rare candy. We have used 3 rare candies, can you believe it? And 3 VS Seekers already. A Trainer's Mail for maybe a Muscle Band, no, a Level Ball for another Gibble. We'll get hit for 80 again. And we are going to put 110 as a reply on my opponent's Garchomp. Would have been nice to get another Nidoking going, then we could have hit for the 1-hit KO here. There's the Gibble. So it's definitely not over yet, my opponent still is going. The question is, who will run out of Pokemon first? Who will run out of steam first? We still have our Sacred Ash and our Super Rod, so if we can find those cards we should be good to go. Oh, and an N. I don't really mind the N, we had a pretty bad hand. A VS Seeker, a Sycamore, the last VS Seeker from our deck, and Energy. The Energy is good, Energy is definitely good, but I want to find my Sacred Ash at the moment. Shuffle back that Nidoran and bench another Nidoran. Muscle Bands, 140 damage right there. A one-hit KO. That was amazing from our opponents. I cannot believe that just happened. That was amazing. An amazing turn right there. And we do top deck the Sacred Ash. So let's shuffle back those Pokemon in our deck. Then let's see, what can we VS Seeker for? Not really much of anything. I'm going to start powering up my Wobbuffets. Yes, do I do that? Or maybe the Power Lariats or the Nidoking for the Power Lariats. Which one is the better play? I'm going to put it on a Nidoking, to be honest. You never know, we might be able to attack with the Nidoking, and then we are going to Sycamore our hand away. Can we find another Nidoran? We do find the male Nidoran, and an Ultra Ball, that is good. Let's Ultra Ball away the Nidoqueen and this energy. Let's grab ourselves a Nidoran. Nope, that's not a Nidoran. Where's our Nidoran? Alright, there's a Nidoran. And then we shall, what shall we do? Well, we'll definitely hit for the Poison Jab. The question is, what do we do in the turn after that? Because right now things are looking pretty bad for us. I'm not gonna lie, things are not looking too great. Because my opponent got that one-hit KO in the previous turn, he actually did what we should have been doing, getting one-hit KOs. A strong energy on the Gible on the bench. And a Korrina for the rare candy and another Garchomp. This is definitely not good. My opponent can start accelerating onto the Garchomp on the bench as well with the Turbo Assault if my opponent wants to do that. If he does, we do stay alive, so I think he might just prefer to go for the one-hit KO. Yes, there's a rare candy. This is not good, not good. We need to evolve into our Nidoran. Into our Nidoqueen as soon as possible here, but we do not have any more rare candy, so... Or do we actually have one more rare candy? No, I don't think so. I think I only play 3. Bite off. And that is why I want to get rid of that Octillery. That Octillery is keeping my opponent in the game, is allowing our opponent to draw and draw and draw and draw. So we shall promote our... What do we promote actually? Our Nidoran? Oh boy, this is a tough decision. I'm going to promote this Nidoran here. We cannot actually get the KO this turn. No, we cannot. Unless we find our Nidorina. Let's see. Unless we find our Nidorina for the scratch. So I'm going to promote my... this is a tough call. What do we do? What do we do? I'm going to promote my Wobbuffets. Give my opponent the KO on the Wobbuffets. This Garchomp will go down going back into my opponent's turn. I forgot about that, so that is good for us. We buy ourselves some time here. Alright, at least there's that, so we don't really need to hit. I'm glad I promoted my Wobbuffet. Let's bench another Wobbuffet. Let's use our Super Rods. Might as well while we can. Shuffle back an energy. The Nidoqueen and the Nidoqueen. Actually, we do need the Nidoran. And we kind of do need this Nidoqueen. So we will leave those energies in a discard pile. We should have enough energies left in the deck. 4 in discard pile, 2 in play. So we have 3 more in the deck here. Yes, there's another energy in Nidorino. And Nidorino. We needed to see our Nidoran, not the Nidorino. Let's end our turn. Let's give ourselves the KO on the Garchomp. Oh, this is going to be so super close. We get the N. N is not helping us at all. We do have the teammates there, so we can look for the Nidorina in the next turn. Can my opponent knock out our Wobbuffet in one hit? I don't believe so. That's one. Oh, actually he can now. With the bite off. And an N. Oh my goodness, we get end. We get end. Bummer. There's a Nidorina and a Lysander. I could Lysander out the Gible maybe to stall. 3 energies in this card pile, but my opponent simply has still energies in the deck to retreat, which is a problem. We kind of need to get a kill on this Garchomp here, but we cannot do it. So we have to promote another Wobbuffet. I think, yes. Yes, we have to promote another Wobbuffet. Maybe I should have shuffled back another Nidoking. There's an N. So let's evolve. Let's Lysander the Gible. It's our best play right now. And let's end our turn. Force my opponent to retreat that Gible. Oh. I thought this was going to be much better than it is. The one-hit KO screwed us over. That's basically what screwed us over. An energy on the Gible. So we will see the retreat. An Ultra Ball from our opponents. Discarding Octillery and a Birch. Does my opponent play any more Muscle Bands? The problem is we are up against a deck that loses the Muscle Bands after rotation. So without those Muscle Bands, we actually would have won the game here. We do see the Gabites. And the knockout here on our Wobbuffet. Another prize from my opponent. This is going to be super duper decisive. I am not going to end because then my opponent can draw more cards with the Octillery. We get another Nidoran. A little bit too late here. Definitely a little bit too late. Let's Poison Jab for 50 and Poison Jab for 50 more. If we stay alive, we stand a very small chance. A very small chance. But that's a big if. If my opponent finds the Muscle Bands, it is a GG here. That's all my opponent needs to find. Professor's Letter. We kind of need to retreat our Nidoqueen in the next turn into our Nidoking to take a hit for a moment. Because otherwise the Gabite will knock us out. Abyssal Hand for 3 more cards. We still stand a very small chance. Focus Edge on the Garchomp and a Corina for the Garchomp for the next turn, I believe. What we need to find in the next turn is an energy for our Nidoking. That's Garchomp and a VS Seeker. Alright, Garchomp and a VS Seeker. Oh boy, oh boy. Can we do it? Can we pull off this miracle? Can we run my opponent out of Pokemon? Bite off for a near miss on the KO here. 10 damage on that Garchomp. We get a Nidorina. And then it is time to end. It is definitely time to end here. An energy, fantastic. We get an energy. We will retreat into our Nidoking. In the next turn, we will Sycamore try to find our last energy. Does my opponent has a VS Seeker for the Lysander, I think. No, there's no Lysander in this card pile, so no Lysander for the win here. Oh, and we get energy from the prizes. Was the last energy really prized? 4, 3, nope, there's still one more energy in our deck. Can my opponent find a Lysander for the win here? My opponent needs that Lysander for the win. We are... Great game, buddy, he says. Yes. Very close. Very good game. I think he hasn't got the Lysander here for the knockouts. Which is a shame, because we could have knocked out this Garchomp with our... Oh, an N. He does not have the Lysander. We could have knocked out this Garchomp with our Nidoking. It will stay alive, but then we can... Oh, don't win though, he says. Alright, don't win. And an N again. Can we find our energy back? Can we get our energy back? We need that mystery energy. No, we do not. We do not get our mystery energy back. We needed that mystery energy here. Turbo Soul for 60. I cannot believe this is happening. We needed that mystery energy back. Energy on the Octillery. And there's the mystery energy. Look at that. We get the mystery energy. We will hit for the Power Lariat for a KO. In the next turn, we will get rid of this Garchomp for once and for all. A Lysander, oh my goodness, there it is. There is the win, the Lysander win. My opponent top decked that Lysander, I think. My opponent top decked that Lysander. That Focus Sash saved my opponent big time. Without it, we would have taken a game there. What a very nice game this was. This was a very nice game. I'm loving it, even though I lost. Anyways, let's find ourselves another opponent. The next opponent is Booty Ravager with a colorless lightning and a psychic deck. This is probably Night March. This is going to be a very difficult matchup for us. I would be very surprised if we can pull this off. My opponent is actually going to go first, huh?
Karp, 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 Karp.